All right, got awfully quiet. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the Nevada Highway Patrol Southern Command. My name is Scott Stunkel. I'm one of the captains here. Today is a very special day. We're here to honor the service, the career of a very close friend of mine, Sergeant Carlos Rivera, who after 25 plus years has decided to call it a career. So welcome everyone. It's a little unique circumstances because of the pandemic happening in our country. We're doing our best to social distance, and we're streaming this ceremony live. So for the millions around the world joining, welcome. Really quickly, I'd just like to introduce, first and foremost, our guest of honor, the retiree, Sergeant Carlos Rivera. He's brought with him his lovely wife, Yvette, son number one, Carlos Jr., and Marcos. Welcome all. Additionally, I'd like to recognize some people in the room. First and foremost, number two in your programs, but number one in your heart, the Colonel, the Chief of the Nevada Highway Patrol, Daniel Solo. Next to the Colonel is our Deputy Chief, Major Kevin Larson, Captains Charles Haycox, and Kevin Honey. All right, we got some outside friends, Captain Martin Malesko, Captain Scott Martin. The Martin twins are in the house. Thank you both for representing parole and probation. Additionally, we've got retired Colonel, Chief of the Nevada Highway Patrol, Dennis Osborne. He loves this place so much he had to give us one more visit. Looking at we have an outside agency in the house. Lieutenant Trish Cervantes, welcome. Thank you for being here. Retirees, of course, we've got Tom Lisa. We've got Song Lee, Charlie Lee. Did I miss anyone? Darren Reimer. I'm just kidding, Al. I know I did it too one time. And retired Lieutenant Alan Davidson. So welcome, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, would you please rise for the posting of the colors? To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as I ask the honor guard to once again come forward to perform a flag folding ceremony. The flag folding ceremony traditionally is completed to honor all officers who through selfless dedication have given their lives to the profession of law enforcement. To date, we've lost 200 law enforcement officers in 2020 that have made that ultimate sacrifice. This year is unique, as we've lost one of our own. Sergeant Ben Jenkins was tragically taken from us way too early. This time I'd like to call upon Trooper Bogdan to please come to the podium.
Let us pray. Our Father in heaven, we're grateful to be gathered here this day to celebrate the distinguished career of Carlos Rivera. Grateful for the technology that's available to broadcast this ceremony live stream to all those family and friends that aren't able to be with us here this day. We're grateful for Carlos to have had him so many years within this department, this division, the difference that he has made. We're grateful for the many sacrifices that he has made, the talents, the skills and experiences that he has put forth for so many years. We're grateful to have known him as a husband, as a father, as a supervisor, a leader, and as a friend. Grateful for the sacrifices that his family has made throughout his career. Grateful for the many ways in which he has made a difference in the things that he has done and the things in which others have done by learning from him. May we have the Spirit be with us this day as we continue on with this ceremony to again distinguish Carlos as one of Nevada's finest. And these things we humbly pray in thy holy name. Amen.
Please be seated. All right. Let's hear a little bit about Carlos. So if I could get the heir to the Rivera throne to come on up here and read your dad's bio. I'm guessing you have it with you. Look at that. That is a prepared man right there. Oh, real quick, I just want to, I'm hoping your brother is watching. No. Oh, well, I'm going to pretend he is. Lieutenant, it's time for you to retire too. So, Carlos Jr.
So my dad was born and raised in Corpus Christi, Texas. He was the youngest of 4 sons to Pete and Emma Rivera. After graduating high school in 1987, he went on to attend Del Mar Community College, where he received an Associate's of Arts degree in criminal justice in 1990. During this time, he participated in amateur boxing, competing in Golden Gloves from 1988 to 1992. Just ask anyone from my dad's early years in the department, few stepped in the ring with him, and all failed. He then attended Corpus Christi State University from 1990 to 1992, where he received his Bachelor of Science degree in criminal justice. During this time, he met my mom, Rivera. They began dating in 1991. After graduating college in 1992, he began looking for employment with Texas DPS. After not being accepted with Texas DPS, he began looking elsewhere around the western United States. My mom actually began calling for information to help my father achieve his goal of becoming a highway patrol. She's always kind of been the one that did the dirty work for him, was in the trenches. She placed calls to Arizona. They were not hiring. New Mexico at the time was paying $9 an hour in the academy and $12 upon graduation. To me, that sounds real cheap. He finally caught a break as Nevada was hiring, and they sent a pamphlet back to him with job information. After seeing the last page where troopers were dressed in their French blue and smoky hat, my dad told my mom, "I like the uniform and I've got to have that hat." That has been my dad's all-time favorite uniform. He still has one in the closet, and pretty sure that he probably checks it out at least once or twice a month. So the paperwork and hiring process began. The written and physical agility test was taken in June of 1994. Oral board in December of 1994, followed by the psychological and polygraph examination, which was in early February of 1995. All 3 of those times required him to fly from Corpus to Las Vegas. On February of 27, 1995, began Academy Class 34 in Carson City. His classmates quickly pulled away from him on the first day as he failed to show up in proper attire. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten lectures on this, on how important it is to show up prepared. I want to thank Brett Bogdan for literally giving my dad the shirt off your back to wear until his could get FedExed to him from Texas. I've heard this story many times, and much of admiration from my father goes out to Brett. Academy Class 34 quickly bonded together, and my dad thanks Alan Davidson for providing free entertainment. He says that he got his 6-pack abs because of you. And to Tom Lisa, thanks for providing transportation to my father to Walmart and Rico's Pizza on a Wednesday night. After graduating on July 7, 1995, he was stationed in Pahrump. He did not know anyone, but quickly became friends with Dennis Osborne, who was stationed in Pahrump as well. As my father began his new journey, my mother was still teaching in Texas. On August 2nd of 1996, Yvette and Carlos were married, and Yvette started her employment with the Nye County School District. My mother would drive to Amargosa Valley for her first year of teaching until an opening was available in Pahrump. Not sure if many of you guys are familiar, but Amargosa Valley is probably about like a 45-minute drive to Pahrump, and at the time she was actually pregnant with me, so that's not easy. My father would also like to thank my mother for the sacrifices she made and continued to make so that way he could follow his passion. Thank you, Mom. Carlos and Yvette had been blessed with 2 boys, Carlos Jr., me, who was born on April 20th of 1997, and my brother Marcos, who was born on March 2nd of 2004. Pahrump has been Carlos's first and only duty station. During his time as a traffic trooper, he had the opportunity to train new personnel in the area. He has trained officers from Beatty and the Tonopah areas as well. Let's just put it this way. If you were stationed in Nye County at some point or another, you would run into my father. You better hope it was on good terms, not bad. He's also a radar instructor, and he has been instructing since 2002. In October of 2008, after years of perseverance and determination, he was promoted to sergeant in the Pahrump area. In December of 2013, he absorbed the Beatty district as well, and he continued to give 110% to the state, even though he had a bigger workload. My brother and I are also extremely grateful that even serving the state to his full capacity, he also maintained his ability as a full-time dad. He never missed games, practices, academic award ceremonies, or special events. He passed up many opportunities for promotion to stay active in our lives and be there for us, and for that, thank you. During all his years in Pahrump, he has worked on developing and maintaining community relationships within the area. My brother often gets upset because whenever my dad is out in public, people stop him to talk. However, this is what happens when you embed yourself within the community to serve and protect them and not just show up to wear the badge. He is happy to have been able to serve the state for all these years. He looks forward to retirement and enjoying time with his family. He has taken on the role of laundry and ironing duties on Fridays to help my mom. He is soon set to receive cooking lessons as well. He has no immediate plans for employment in the future, but looks forward to serving the Pahrump community at some capacity in the future. State of Nevada thanks you, Dad.
Junior, that was amazing. Like, you're in a room of strangers in front of millions of people streaming live. That was flawless. That was excellent. Thank you. A couple observations. Yvette, there in the beginning, here in the end, impressive. Congratulations to you both. That's an amazing feat. That's awesome. I can only imagine how happy the people of Pahrump were when they saw that Pahrump Valley Times article of the former 42 throwing in the towel and calling it a career. So congratulations, Carlos. This time, ladies and gentlemen, the chief of the Nevada Highway Patrol, Colonel Daniel Solo.
Well, good morning and welcome, everyone. As I've been previously introduced, I'm Colonel Daniel Solo, Chief of the Nevada Highway Patrol. I'm honored to be here today to recognize the retirement of one of our longest tenured employees. Sergeant Carlos Rivera began his career with the State in Highway Patrol Academy 34, the one just before mine. I have not known a Highway Patrol without Carlos until today. Everyone who knows me knows my love of Southern Nevada, so much so that I have remained in Southern Command my entire career, but Carlos has done me one better. Whereas I've worked 3 different duty stations in the South, Carlos found a home in Pahrump and has served the Pahrump, Beatty, Indian Springs community for his entire career, 25 and a half years. I met Carlos very early on in our careers. Much like myself, Carlos was a rural troop. He was assigned to Pahrump and I worked Laughlin. And one thing about rural troopers, even though you may be hundreds of miles apart, you get to know each other as you share the radio, hearing what each other is doing. You get to know them as a peer, almost the same as troops who work side by side in an urban area. And on top of all that, Carlos had something that I needed. He knew Spanish. I can't tell you how many times early in my career I would stop someone who didn't speak English, and the stop would end up with a call to Carlos to be my translator over the phone. That's just one example of how much Carlos put into this profession, as he never gave me any grief for bugging him, even if I called him on a day off. There's also a saying about first impressions and the lasting effect those can have on someone. The first time I met Carlos in person was at the old Sahara office, and it immediately struck me how much pride you had in being a trooper. You heard during his bio that he picked us because of our uniform, and I have no doubt about that. I remember walking the hall and seeing him coming the other way. He was dressed out, perfectly squared away in the old French blues, long sleeve shirt, tie, shoes with an almost blinding shine on them, and carrying his smoky. In this case, the first impression was not wrong in any way, as I would come to know Carlos Rivera is probably the most squared away trooper I have ever met. Through the years, I've worked closely with Carlos. When I became the sergeant over Prim, there was a period where there were some problems with the sergeant Parum, so I was put over both districts and had a chance to work closely in person with Carlos. And pretty much as I expected, everything Carlos did was done right. So it was no surprise that when there was a sergeant opening about a year later, Carlos got the job. Being a sergeant is an important role, but some people who get the job really look at it as a supervisor job and take that to mean just watching over a squad or a district and holding the wheel steady. But that's not what Carlos Rivera was about. Carlos worked tirelessly as a sergeant for his troopers. Always looking to improve himself, I can't tell you how many times we talked about the best ways to lead, motivate, and most importantly, take care of the troops. Because more than anything else, Carlos always had high standards for himself and those around him, but on top of that, he would do whatever it takes to help his people meet those standards. Carlos set the example by working every shift, continuing to handle calls, take enforcement action, while still managing all of his sergeant responsibilities. And there have been countless months where he was the statistical leader in many categories for enforcement or other activity. And that's the hallmark of a true leader. Carlos was promoted to sergeant in 2008, 25 years of service in Pahrump, the last 12 of which was as a sergeant. That's 12 years as the face of the Highway Patrol in the rural community. There's no doubt that Sergeant Rivera has made a difference in many people's lives. For the past 7 of those years, I was Carlos's supervisor in some form or another, and I can't tell you how nice it is to not have to worry about his district, because I could always count on him and know that the things were getting done right. Carlos, your work ethic and the exemplary way you led your district has been remarkable. To close, Carlos, you have my respect and admiration for all that you have done. Thank you for over 25 years of sustained, top-notch, dedicated service to the state, your community, the patrol, and most importantly to your troopers. Congratulations on your retirement, and all the best in whatever you do in the future. All right, Carlos, if you'd come on up, we've got some presentations to make now for you. So to start with, Certificate of Retirement. In recognition of your service to the citizens of the state of Nevada from February 27, 1995 to September 4th, 2020, and honorably retiring from the Nevada Highway Patrol with a total of 25 and a half years of distinguished service. So certificate and retirement credentials.
Got mine.
Absolutely.
And half of it is yours.
All right, and the next presentation is Nevada Highway Patrol Colonel's Coin. Sergeant Carlos Rivera, in recognition of your 25 1/2 years of outstanding and dedicated service to the citizens of the state of Nevada and the Department of Public Safety, let it be further recognized the positive impact you have had throughout your career. The men and women of the Nevada Highway Patrol congratulate you upon your retirement and wish you well in all your future endeavors. Presented Colonel's Coin number 393, September 4th, 2020.
So we have a certificate from the United States Senate office. That's a certificate of special congressional recognition presented to Sergeant Carlos Rivera in recognition of your tremendous service and dedication to protecting Nevada for nearly 26 years. Thank you for all your hard work, and I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. Dated September 4th, 2020, signed by Senator Jackie Rosen. State of Nevada Highway Patrol would also like to recognize you with the state flag. You've seen a few of these in retirement ceremonies, but this is a proud tradition that we do. This flag was flown above the Southern Command Office here in your honor, so today we would like to present this to you, and we hope you display it proudly for the rest of your time, and we hope it reminds you of the great career that you have had. Thank you. All right, also in the tradition with our retirements, we'd like to present you this wall plaque. Sergeant Carlos Rivera, number 027. Your dates of service, February 27, 1995 to September 4th, 2020.
Carlos, from the rule, they also got you a wall plaque that looks oddly familiar, like the one you just received, but I guess they wanted to one-up us and got you a bigger one. So from the Rural District, we would like to present you with this plaque. Congratulations on your retirement, Lowe's.
Also a tradition with our retirements and promotion. On behalf of the Nevada Highway Patrol, we'd like to present you with a bouquet of flowers. Small token of our appreciation, but I know you've endured countless phone calls at night, missed holidays, missed dinners, whatnot. So from the Nevada Highway Patrol, we want to thank you for your service that you've given, and also the support you've given Carlos over the years. Thank you.
Kind of like the people from the planet. Well, thank you, everybody.
It's not your turn yet.
Nope, sir.
You can have a seat, though. Some friends of yours apparently have a couple things to say about you.
Okay, I guess
At this time, Colonel Osborne, if I could please have you come up. I understand you've got a couple things, a couple stories you'd like to share about Carlos.
Stories are always good, right? Thank you, Scott, Colonel, Major. So I'll go way back to probably the first few days Carlos was there in Pahrump. And I don't see Kevin Tice in here. Is he not? No? Too bad. Hope he's watching on TV. But so Carlos is FTOing in Las Vegas, but Tice has to come pick him up, from Vegas. And so he asked Carlos, hey, where do you live? And Carlos is like, well, I'm right off 372 and Red Butt. Kevin Tice is like, Red Butt? Yeah, Red Butt. That's the name of the street. And of course, Tice is like, only in Pahrump. How long does it take me to get there? Carlos says, oh, about 45 minutes. So Kevin Tice leaves, swing shift, comes up, takes about an hour, right? Hour and 15 minutes. Of course, that's Carlos's fault. We all know how that is, day one on FTO. And then he's looking for Red Butt on 372. Well, guys, he's from Texas. It was Red Butte. So that started things off pretty good. Red Butte, Red Butt. Hey, we all know they're close. Yeah. There was some dirt on the E. Well, not too long after that, then Charlie Lee is Carlos's field training officer. I know, two toughies. So I actually had gotten called out on a fatal right before, and I just didn't remember that there was a rookie out there yet. And so Charlie comes rolling up on his way to get Carlos, and he's like, why the F did you not call me? You know I have an effing rookie. Of course, he didn't say the F. He said the real word. We're on TV. So yeah, Carlos had some good FTOs for sure. So I like it. But Red Butte, Red Butt. So one of the other ones, for those old timers that you remember directed enforcement. Anybody remember that? I don't know if we still do that, probably not. But so Carlos and I were working directed enforcement on State Route 160, and the KFC in Pahrump just opened. Kentucky Fried Chicken. And just so you guys know, in the 90s, there was nothing out in Pahrump but a couple of mom and pop restaurants. So we were excited, I'm not gonna lie. We were pretty stoked about Kentucky Fried Chicken. So we left our direct enforcement beat and went and had some Kentucky Fried Chicken. And we're sitting there at the table, all smiles, eating our chicken. And who do we see come through the drive-through and stops right at our table? So we're looking at him, Sergeant Mark Clark. So we're both like, oh shit. There's our Sarge. So, you know, we're eating our chicken. And then, of course, we went back out and kicked butt and, you know, got a lot of tickets and some arrests. So, you know, we were forgiven, I think. That was, yeah, a memorable one. And Sergeant Clark was a great sergeant, wasn't he? He was a good sergeant for us. He really was. So Carlos became legendary pretty quickly. Junior mentioned the Golden Glove boxings, right? So I'm smart enough to, I'm not a boxer. I didn't know how to box at all, but Carlos is like, hey, I want a partner for the Police Olympics. So will you spar with me? And I'm like, listen, I'll spar with you, but you gotta, you know, show me some things and teach me a little bit. And, you know, and I was very humble. So he did, he sparred with me, showed me some combinations, put the headgear on me, a mouthpiece. You know, if he hit me too hard, he'd back off, let me recover. And then, you know, we come at it. Well, a couple of years later, I don't remember the year, like probably 97, we get a trooper out there by the name of Scott Coble. I hope he's watching. How many of you remember Scott Coble in the room? Okay. So just a quick note for those of you that don't. Scott Coble talks like he is from Texas. He's got the drawl and everything, but he's from California. We come to find out he's from California. Well, he was in the Army and he took Taekwondo and all these other things. Well, Carlos and Scott were like oil and water, man. Right from the get-go, Coble would talk his smack, Carlos would call him out on it, and it was escalating. It was really escalating. And so Carlos was his FTO at one point, and then I was, and then finally they were getting ready to you know, to have it out. And I said, listen, guys, you guys can settle this after field training. So they stayed professional, they worked it out, and Coble, after FTO, he gets off FTO, well, they put on the boxing gloves, the headgear, and the location was my garage. My garage. So I kind of pulled out all the stuff that could, you know, hurt him in the corners and stuff. So this was the fastest fight of the century, and I wish to this day that I would have videoed this thing because it was legendary for a while. It would have been on VHS tape, but I would have videotaped it. So ding ding, there, I'm the ref, right? Ding ding, there goes the bell. Carlos is, you know, playing with him. Coble's haymakers, right? Carlos finally has enough. Just boom! And Coble goes flying into one corner, so I go kind of look at it, and I'm okay. This is about 15 seconds, right? So he comes back out there, throws a couple more haymakers, Carlos like, and then just another lightning combination, and Coble's looking at me, and his eyes are going like this. So I'm like, that's it, fight's over. I mean, it was about 25 seconds, and all that talk, all that smack talk was all for nothing, right, Carlos? So this is the funnier part, though. His wife, Yvette, I don't know how many of you knew Scott Coble's wife, Yvette, but she's a nurse, right? So Charlotte, yeah, sorry. Charlotte. Gosh, see? Yeah, I've got good trouble there. So Charlotte, the nurse, comes over and she takes a look at Scott and she starts yelling at me. I think he has a concussion and you did it. All this. Anyway, he didn't. I don't know if he had a concussion or not. But anyway, fight was over. I think that humbled him a little bit. But anyway, Scott, hope you're watching. It was all true. Yeah, like Carlos Jr. said in his bio, you know, Carlos and I did quickly become friends, and that friendship lasted, you know, throughout until today. That's one cool thing about law enforcement, highway patrol, cops in general. We can go without seeing one another for years and years, and then when you see each other, it's like you've never been apart. One thing I really learned about Carlos right away, like within this first few years of knowing Carlos, I knew what was important to Carlos, and that was God, family, the highway patrol, and his district. And you have stayed true to that for 25 years. That's who you are. That's why I respect you. That's why you're my friend. You are an example to me and to everybody in here. I feel blessed to have you in my life. Going through the ranks, I could always count on Carlos to give me the straight skinny. He didn't care if I was a captain, a major, or a colonel. He would tell me. I'd say, hey, what do you think about this? And he would tell me. And it wasn't always flattering. It wasn't always what I wanted to hear. But I could always count on Carlos to give me that perspective from a trooper and from a sergeant. And for that, I'm forever grateful to you, Carlos. You've been a great friend, a true friend, and really a model of a state trooper. And a family man, and a father, the husband that you are, and thank you for being in my life, and congratulations on your retirement.
Well, thank you very much, Colonel. Carlos has also asked retired Lieutenant Davidson for a couple words, so I don't know if you've got a pause button on that thing, Andrew.
You don't need to pause, but I'll keep it forever. I just want to go back, like Dennis was just saying, Carlos has been a great friend to me. We met in the academy. We're academy mates along with Tom Lisa, it's in the room, and Brett Bogdan, and a few others. But what you said, Carlos, earlier about him not showing up in proper attire was a little light. We're all in suits and ties, and Carlos showed up in a sweatsuit with a members-only jacket on. Am I lying? So we did push-ups out in the gravel and the dirt for a half hour. Well, he was going through everyone's trunk getting dressed. He was wearing Brett's shirt, my tie, not my pants, obviously. Someone else's shoes till his mother could FedEx him some suits and ties. So it was a mess. I was like, oh my God, this is what Nevada sent. So quickly I learned, who to kind of stay away from and who to go. But as soon as class started, Carlos was the best student until breaks went on. Every break on the hour, what did he get, Tom? A Coke and a Reese's peanut butter cup. Every break. So 4 a day. So I was wondering how this guy's not 300 pounds. So I thought he had a tapeworm. I don't know what he had. But anyway, we graduated. We became friends. We both started having children at the same time. Carlos and my son Jake are like 2 months apart, and we kind of bonded over that, and we remained friends. But when Carlos first went to Pahrump, when he was living on Red Butt, another trooper, he works for SAC PD now, his name is Brandon Luke. I don't know if any of you remember him. But we would call probably on a monthly basis and call Yvette and Carlos before the kids were born and crank call them. We'd say, we're Nevada Power, we got to shut your power off, this, that, and they were like, oh my God, we don't know anybody out here, what are we going to do? We tried to sell them vacuums from Electrolux. We did everything we could to try to just make Carlos try to fit in, and he did so. But since then, we go camping a lot, and every time we go out to Pahrump, we always call Carlos and Yvette to come down, and we have a beer and talk. Yvette has her Diet Coke and plays painting machines with Trish. Carlos sits at the bar and drinks Modelo like it's water. The bartenders know him. As soon as they come in, they put a couple limes up there and bring Modelos on point. He gets down to underneath the M on Modelo, they bring another one. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, I wanted to congratulate you. You've been a great friend. I've called you for advice. You've called me for advice, and I've always looked up to you. And like everyone has said, your uniforms, your love of the department, your family has always been spot on, and I appreciate that. I respect that, and I love you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Lieutenant Davidson. Thanks for keeping it clean. It was awesome. At this time, I'm going to read Sergeant Rivera's retirement order. If I could have uniformed officers, effective September 4th, 2020, Department of Public Safety, Nevada Highway Patrol, Special Order number 058-20, Retirement. Effective Friday, September 4th, 2020, Sergeant Carlos Rivera, identification number 4027, will retire from the Department of Public Safety, Nevada Highway Patrol, Southern Command, Pahrump, after 25½ years of service. Signed, Colonel Daniel Solo, Chief, Nevada Highway Patrol. Come on up. It's your turn.
Now it's my turn.
Now it's your turn.
Wait, hold on one second. There's a phone there.
Sorry.
Well, thank you, everybody. Dennis, thank you for taking the time out to come out here to this ceremony as well. Alan Davison hit it on the spot when we were talking about the good times that we had at the Academy. Free entertainment. Yes, I did notice that first day when I did walk into the Academy, the parking lot, I did notice that I was a little underdressed. So today I came, last day I better come dressed because I don't want to be writing 500-word essays. It was good. Brett, thank you. Tom, Lisa, where you at? Thank you very much. Yeah, it was fun back then, and we had a good time. I did have a six-pack abs, but it wasn't from doing sit-ups and stuff like that. Alan kept us every morning at formation out there. He had a different joke about anything, about everybody, anybody. And so, I'm not going to go into details, but we quickly found out he was an artist. And so, it was fun. Thank you, Alan. And you're right. As we started our careers, as we started our families, we kept in touch. And then for a short time, you were my supervisor. And I remember there was a time there that, as my supervisor, he had got some wind from one who was at the range, who's in this room as well, Trooper McNeil. And they were playing you for a fool, and it's about time they did that. They were telling somebody else, and you were overhearing how regiment, how hard I was. That, yeah, Carlos goes to our house on days off, and he goes to check our ship. He checks our boots, he checks our cars, and they're watching you from the corner of your eye, and Alan's about biting his lip. And so, at that point, Alan finally has to step in. He's like, wait a minute, what do you mean? What the hell is he doing out there? What kind of areas is he running? He goes, oh yeah, he makes his, you guys are getting paid for this, right? No, I'm not getting paid for this at all. So I think Alan was about to call me up and say, what the F are you doing? Until Kevin finally broke down and said, no, we're just playing with you. And I called Alan the next day, or he called me the next day, and he says, dude, I was really, really pissed at you. And I said, Alan, how long have we known each other? Do you really think I'm that bad? Well, I don't.
Carlos, you make your son to this day still do a cost sheet for his personal car. Carlos Jr., is that true?
It is 18 days late. It is 18 days late still. So yeah, he had a good time with that. They kind of turned it on him as well. Yeah. Charlie Lee, one of my first FTOs, thank you. When I heard I had Charlie Lee as my first FTO, we started calling around and everybody starts finding out who's what, and so they're like, oh. You got the lead. I was like, do I have the good lead or do I got the bad lead? So Charlie didn't like driving to Pahrump every day. And he let me know that every single day. He let me know how busy Pahrump was and how we had to go work on Las Vegas Boulevard, the pit. And we were leaving Pahrump, and he'd be like, the 6504 will handle all calls at the 604 and the front. And I look at him like, why? Hey, you're the trooper. So, man, I was always trying to impress Charlie. I was always trying to, get him to back off a little bit. And so, we got a drunk. I got a drunk out in the north end of Pahrump one day. And so, I wanted to put my hat on because Charlie wanted everybody ready to put their hat on. So I put my hat on, went through my FSTs, I got the guy arrested, and Charlie's sitting back there just, I'm like, hey, I got a 1055, right? Yeah. You think you got the 55, right? And I said, yeah. You think you look good? And I said, yeah, I look good. Carlos. It wasn't Carlos, Carlos. Come back here. Look in the mirror. Oh, what happened to my hat badge? Carlos, your hat is on backwards. I was like, oh. I couldn't win. I couldn't win for lose. I couldn't win. We would do traffic stops at 6:05, Paradise. And I'm writing my ticket out, and I'm looking, and Charlie's nowhere around. Charlie's hiding behind the light post somewhere. So I finally come back, and Charlie's like, what's the matter? I didn't see where you were at. Well, that's the way it's going to be, Carlos. And I was like, but I'm only in week 1. Why are you hiding from me already? But anyway, Charlie, thank you very much. You really inspired me, and you helped me out. You were there for me. I knew your weak point. It was be friends with Jade, and she would take care of you. So I did that. So say hello to your wife, and thank you. Just crazy stories with, Sergeant Reimer and I worked together, and recently retired Sergeant Reimer, so congratulations to you too as well. We bounced ideas off, and as somebody mentioned, as a rule trooper, we do have to rely. It is a different beast working in urban than it is working in rural areas. We don't turn off our phones, or back then we didn't turn off our pagers. And so for you younger guys, the pager was something we had to carry around because there were no cell phones, so we had to get paid from dispatch. And so we would go get our pagers, and so we would have that in case we needed a call out. So cell phones came around, and that was good. But Darren, thank you for helping me out. I noticed Trooper McNeil's here. Kevin, thank you for coming. I know you don't like to come to these things, but thank you. I appreciate that. It has been a blast. It's been a fun time. It's been I was just driving in this morning. I got to thank my wife for being there for me. She's tough. This morning we're driving in, and I said, God, honey, can you believe it's been 2 weeks since I've actually been retired? 2 weeks? You haven't worked a single day like since June. I was like, yeah, June I was kind of like working 1 day a week, and so kind of confused her at home with what day of the week it was. So I see we have the presence of Lieutenant Kemmer. Eric, thank you. Eric, this is my family. Eric, remember when we were driving up to Elko that one time? We had a good time. Yes, we had a good time. And so we also were working out our abs that day because Eric and I were just laughing from Pahrump all the way up to Elko. And so we had a good time with that. And I was sitting like a ghost in the passenger seat because Eric was driving. And I was like, dude, please slow down, dude. I have a family. I got to go back home too. And so Eric and I were just laughing and having fun. And so we got up to Elko, and then we freaked out on the Elko dispatch. How they were chasing a water truck around. And so everybody was getting involved in that water truck chase. So that was some fun times. But I noticed that we have some Song Lee and Alan Davis, and they look like they're ready for golf attire. So
11:05, hurry up.
all right. Lieutenant Diamond, thank you. 2.5 weeks ago, you helped me out when I came to drop off my car, and so thank you. I really appreciate that. And Alan gave me some good words of advice then. I said, man, I was talking to him like 2 nights before, and I said, man, dude, I gotta drop off my car on Wednesday. And Alan's like, man, that's tough. I said, man, I don't know how I'm gonna do that. And so Alan says, Carlos, you remember your last day of high school when you waved goodbye to your friends and you never saw them again? I said, yeah, that's what it feels like. I said, man, that sucks. Then he comes up with another thing, and he says, Carlos, do you remember how you felt the day you swam over the river, jumped the fence, and you left the fence? I was like, yes, like the Alan I know. That was good advice. So, awesome. I like that. Thank you. I've had a good time. Thank you to my family. Thank you to my wife, to my boys. I'm so proud of them. They look so sharp. They look so nice. And who would ever think that a week ago they were at Kohl's, we're shopping, they're behind me walking, and all I hear is, ow. I'm looking back and somebody's smacking somebody with some socks. And that's brothers. That's brothers. So thank you guys. Thank you to my command staff for your support throughout the years. I really do appreciate it. It's been fun. And so thank you, everybody. Our honor guard, you look sharp back there. I love seeing those hats. They look good. It has been an honor and it's been a pleasure to serve the state of Nevada as a state trooper. And may God bless the men and women of the Nevada Highway Patrol, and may God bless the men and women who serve this country. Thank you.
Stand by your dispatch council, please. So our radio is our lifeline when we're working the road. Every morning we call on 1041, we log on. At night we hope we get to go 1042. As you work with your fellow troopers, you learn their voices, the sound of the voice, the inflection in their voices, and you immediately know when something's going south. So our radios are our lifeline. At this time, it is time for Carlos to give his final 42. I think it's the transmit button. That's
Henry 4027. Check 9.
somebody better than me. We're on 8 call 90. We'll say that was good initiative, bad judgment with the console. Let's go old school. Oh, perfect timing. Look at that. It's going to be a minute. Huh.
6511. Sounds like that water truck, Eric.
Northbound north of California, 8 Mary Lincoln, Lincoln 377, 8 Mary Lincoln, Lincoln 377 on a black Honda Accord. Henry 637. 370, although lights are functioning properly, I'll be 1024, Ocean North. Sounds fine.
Henry 4027. It's not hidden. Henry 4027.
Henry 4027.
Henry 4027. After 25 years, I will be 1042. And thank you for your help.
It is with great pleasure to announce that as of 0952 hours on Wednesday, September 4th, 2020, after 25 and a half years, Nevada Highway Patrol, Sergeant Carlos Rivera, T number 4027, is retiring and giving his final call. The Department of Public Safety in the great state of Nevada would like to thank you for your many years of selfless and dedicated service to the law enforcement profession and the citizens of the state of Nevada. Your final 42 is 0952 hours. Channel clear.
Thank you. I love you.
Love you. Trooper Bogdan, if you could come back up and pray us out, please.
Let us pray. Our Father in heaven, we're thankful to again have been gathered here this day as we celebrate the wonderful career of Carlos and all the many great things that he has done. We're grateful for the many kind words that have been said about him this day. We ask a blessing upon him that as he moves forward in this next chapter in his life, that he may be able to have just as successful retirement as he had a career. That he will find peace and happiness in all that he does. Bless him and his family with good health, and they will always have good times ahead. We're grateful to have thou blessing upon us each and every day. And as we depart, ask blessings upon all those that have traveled here to have safe passage home and to always protect those that are serving this wonderful state and its great citizens and visitors. We're grateful for, again, all that thou hast given unto us, and these blessings and these things we pray. In thy holy name, amen.
Major Larson.
Carlos, I think we've heard a lot of good stories. Everything I know is true about you. You are truly one of a kind, and the Highway Patrol is, I don't think we're losing you, but we're separating from a tremendous sergeant and a trooper out Prump area. So I know we've spoken, and it's not the last we're going to see of you. We're going to call on you to come in and help volunteer for advanced academies and other special functions. So you're always welcome in this building, as you know, and we wish you a prosperous retirement, and hopefully you can get some homework done around the house. And so with that, again, thanks for everybody for coming. I'd like to thank Andrew Bennett with OTS for his audio visual and streaming this on YouTube today. But with that, we close the ceremony, and congratulations, Carlos.